Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. We've got a great topic we're going to talk about today. It's going to help you if you're buying a house. And if you can hear me okay, if you don't mind, just go ahead and type yes or okay in the comments. That way I know everything's working with the audio. And what we're going to be talking about today is buying a house and doing it without getting all stressed out, without wasting your time, without wasting your money. Those things, if that sounds pretty good to you, then I think you'll enjoy this video. And what specifically we're going to be talking about is your earnest money. You're going to put some money down when you find the house you want to buy. That's your earnest money deposit. And, you know, buyers a lot of times worry what can cause them to lose that money. So we're going to talk about how you can keep that money safe. And if you're just joining us, or actually before we get started, I just want to say if you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you with that. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. And you can go to showcasecall.com to schedule a time for us to talk. You can just click a few buttons and get scheduled with us. Okay, so let's get into it. If you're just joining us, what we're talking about is buying your next home, doing it without getting stressed out, doing it without wasting your time, without wasting your money. And specifically what we're talking about is the earnest money that you put down. Sometimes it's called a good faith deposit. Sometimes it's just called a deposit. Might be called earnest money deposit or EMD for short. Doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. When you find a house that you love and you want to buy it, you're going to put down a deposit. Might be 1% of the purchase price or 3% of the purchase price. Could be a few $1,000s, might be $50,000, $60,000, $70,000. Just going to depend on the situation. But either way, it's your money, so you want to protect it. And you're going to sign a contract, a real estate purchase agreement. It's going to have some different terms, some legal mumbo jumbo in there. So we're going to talk about that too and how to use that to protect yourself. A question that we get a lot is, you know, what can cause, you know, as the buyer, what can cause me to lose that earnest money? And, you know, anytime you've got money that's out there and you might be worried about it, you know, are you going to lose that money? Is it at risk? We're going to talk about how to protect that, and I'm going to share a specific story with you, a couple of clients we've been working with recently, and their exact situations. So if you are just joining us, I just want to put this out there. If you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you with either one of those things. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. And to get scheduled with us, it's very easy. Just go to showcasecall.com. Once you're on there, it's an online scheduler. You just click a few buttons and get scheduled for us to talk. Okay? So let's get into it. When you find that house and you put the money down on the house, that's your earnest money deposit. How are you going to protect that money? In the contract, I believe it's like paragraph 14 or something. In the contract, it's going to say you've got a certain amount of time for your contingencies. And you've got different contingencies. You've got appraisal contingency, mortgage contingency, inspection contingency. Now, a situation that we're currently in, and this is what kind of caused me to say, hey, this might be a good topic, is we have a client right now that we're working with, and we're actually past that contingency period. We're in negotiations for whether or not the seller is going to cover some repairs that the buyer is asking for, and we're representing the buyer. That's who we work for. Yesterday, Karen was giving the buyer an update, and the buyer was concerned about losing his earnest money deposit. And Karen was assuring him, hey, you're not going to lose that deposit. Now, the reason the guy was concerned about losing the deposit is because we're actually past the contingency period. Contingency periods are typically like 17 days, but they can be shortened or lengthened, but that's going to be in the contract. But we're past the contingency period, and so the buyer, our client, he's worried. He's like, hey, you know, am I going to lose the money that I've put down? And we've assured him that he's not. And the reason is just simply because we haven't removed the contingencies. So even if you're, as a buyer, even if you're past the expiration, the contingency period, even if you're past that date, you're still entitled to get a refund of your earnest money as long as you haven't removed the contingencies. And the contingency removal is a separate form that your realtor will send over to you for you to sign, either to wet sign with a pen or for you to DocuSign with some kind of electronic signatures. So we were able to reassure our client, hey, don't worry about this. We're still in the negotiations with the seller. We're still hopeful that we can get all of this worked out, but you don't have to worry about canceling because your earnest money is still safe. We haven't removed the contingencies. Now, something that happens sometimes, unfortunately, is the realtor that's representing the buyer may sometimes try to sneak in a contingency removal form and get it signed. And sometimes as the buyer, you've got like so many documents coming your way that need to be signed and so many things that have to be read. And there's like so much legal mumbo jumbo, it can get kind of confusing. And we've got a client, it's a mortgage client. We didn't actually represent her as the buyer on her property, but when she was buying the property, she used us for her mortgage. Her realtor kept trying to slide in a contingency removal, just trying to get it signed. And the realtor actually kept telling her, hey, your earnest money's gone. You've given it up already. You've got to close on this house. If you walk away from this, you're going to lose your earnest money. Now, the thing was that wasn't true. We were able to help her with that. And basically we were able to assure her, hey, if you want to walk away from this, you can. You're going to get your earnest money back. It's no big deal. But that's not what her realtor was telling her. Her realtor was telling her the opposite. So when it comes to these contingency removals, or contingencies and your earnest money deposit, the thing you want to remember is as long as you have a contingency period written into the initial purchase agreement, and as long as you have not removed your contingencies, you're completely entitled to a refund of your earnest money deposit. So there's no reason for you to worry at all. And if you are just joining us, I just want to point this out real quick before we wrap things up, is if you're serious about buying or selling, give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. You might want us to help you buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. Be a great time, for us to spend maybe 15 minutes or so on the phone. And if you want to get scheduled with us, you can just go to showcasecall.com and click a few buttons and get scheduled. So let's just kind of wrap it up. What we're talking about is buying your next home, doing it without getting all stressed out, doing it without wasting your time or your money. And when you find a house you want to buy, you're going to put a deposit down. Might be referred to as an earnest money deposit or EMD or a good faith deposit, whatever, whoever's calling it, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still a deposit. It's your money. You want to be able to protect it. As you go through the process of buying the house, you might get some things done like an inspection. You're going to have to get some stuff done for the loan. As these things come back, you may feel the need to renegotiate with the seller and ask for some type of credit or repairs or a price reduction. Sometimes while that's going on, you might even go past your contingency period. But if you've done that, don't worry. As long as you haven't removed your contingencies, you're entitled to a full refund. So you don't have to feel like your back's against the wall in this negotiation. You don't have to feel like you have to accept the house. Don't ever feel like that. That's how you protect your money. Number one, you have contingency periods built into the contract, and then number two, you don't remove your contingencies. And that's how you protect your, eventually you remove your contingencies once everything's cool. But as long as you haven't removed them, then you're entitled to that earnest money. Okay? Hey, I hope you found this helpful. And if you're serious about buying or selling a home, or if you got questions, we'd love to talk. You can just go to showcasecall.com to get scheduled with us. And you might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some advice and point you in the right direction. Okay? All right. Hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Take care.